Hey nerds, thanks for joining us. Tonight we are talking about Avengers Doomsday and other things maybe. So stick around and we'll, as we discuss some news teasers and things that you might have missed, speculation and all that jazz. Oh my gosh, wow, okay, cool. All right, so hopefully we can. All right, tap your mic real quick.
Tap.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure it was on. Okay, cool. So yeah, Quinn is not here tonight. He has got some other things going on, and so I am Dylan.
I'm Andrew.
And yep, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop a new video. And once again, thanks for your support. All right, so spoiler alert. Would you like to do that one?
If you're coming, I can't even do this anymore. If you're coming here expecting not spoilers. Well, guess what? There are spoilers. So yes, they will be here, and they will be constant, and they'll be flying at your face. So watch out. Just you have been warned. There we go. I'm sorry, Quinn. I can't do it as good as you can. But...
You heard it here first. All right, so yeah, tonight's just a kind of an off night, as you can tell. We're just gonna kind of chill and chat and hang out. And so, like, one of the big things going on right now over the past week is some new information that was dropped, starting with CinemaCon, actually Thursday night, 1 week ago tonight, and it's kind of got me worried. And so, okay, so just to kind of build where I'm coming with this. All right, so the Russos have an excellent track record, obviously. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, is it Infinity War? I am losing my mind.
Infinity War.
Okay, Infinity War.
Infinity War and then Endgame.
Yeah, and then Endgame. I wanted to say Infinity Game for some reason.
There's just so many words, so many combination of words, these titles.
So, I've said that they kind of painted themselves in a corner when it comes to Endgame, and there were some mechanics of the world that they had previously been really good at, as far as like keeping the world and respecting the rules of the world, which you have to do when you're writing, and that kind of, if you have to make it believable, and if you don't follow your own rules, then how is the audience going to be expect to be able to follow along and stuff like that? And comics in nature kind of breaks its own rules, and that kind of stuff.
From time to time, yeah. There's a lot of soft resets, hard resets,
Oh yeah.
Everything in between.
Yeah, and if you change writers, or that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So, but in film, it's a lot more tight, and Kevin Feige was known for keeping that tight. That's kind of how the extended universe worked. That's why it worked, is because it was consistent. But with Endgame, with some of the time travel stuff, they kind of left a lot of open threads and kind of leaned in a little bit into the fan service rather than telling a story. That, for example, like Infinity War was extremely tight, and it had such I think it was a better movie, to be honest. It had more of an emotional impact because it was so tight. But with Endgame, they just kind of like, all right, we're just going to get butts in seats and we're going to entertain the crowd, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to end it right there, cool. But if you want to keep going, you still have to keep that world going.
Right. And
there are certain things that they just kind of never, and I'm drawing a blank. I know I should have 5 things right here, right now, but I cannot think. A lot of the timey-wimey stuff, the fact...
Paul Rudd losing his taco, and then the Hulk giving him his taco. And...
Yeah.
Which, it's cute, it's fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of like what the fans wanted. But some of the Captain America stuff. The fact that they leaned in so hard on RDJ and Chris Evans being the cornerstones of that universe, and then just removed them from the board and tried to continue. And it didn't really go. It didn't really work. They didn't set up new Avengers or anything like that, even though they had moved the headquarters up to upstate North New York, they did set up a few things like Anthony Mackie being Cap, but they never really fulfilled the promises and the things that they kind of set up. But there wasn't a whole lot of follow through.
And as far as like Iron Man's replacement, Riri Williams doesn't show up until several years later on the TV show, on the Ironheart show. Yeah.
And right after that, you have Bob Chapek, excuse me, stepping in as the CEO of Disney, and right on the heels of COVID, he's like, hey, you need to put out content. People are at home. Put it out. And so that forced Kevin Feige to announce a bunch of things that they just were kind of like considering. They just kind of like weren't really in the pipeline, but they wanted the shareholders to know that they weren't going to lose money and all this kind of stuff. And it's stupid. And so he kind of wrestled. He stole the creative control of the Marvel Universe from Kevin Feige, and as you know, this multiverse saga has not hit, especially not as well as the first 20 years or 10 years or whatever.
With the kind of with us losing Kang too, which that was a big sort of like, he was supposed to be a big, not the biggest bad of this go round, but at least one of the big bads, and I was really looking forward to it, and I'm sure a lot of people were as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That fell through, and so they had to kind of scramble in that regard.
Yeah, and Chadwick Boseman, his death. There were a couple things that were out of their control. However, there are things that they could have done. I mean, they could have scaled back as soon as Bob Iger came back. They could have gotten the properties out more consistently. They could have woven them together in a more coherent fashion. They could have recast Kang. There were a lot of people that wanted them to recast T'Challa.
And they still can't seem to figure out who they want to do like this Blade. They want to kickstart the Blade franchise, which I think that was what would have brought in a lot more people back. I think a lot of people were wanting that because he was technically in a way kind of the first not the first MCU character, but definitely the first big major Marvel movie.
Absolutely, yeah. There wouldn't have been X-Men or Spider-Man or any of that without Blade. Yeah. A lot of people want to credit Spider-Man for that, but Blade was before that.
For sure.
So that kind of stuff, and I've said since we started covering WandaVision and all that kind of stuff, there were a lot of promises thrown out that they just didn't fulfill, and there were so many properties coming out that started to feel like homework. And so like these are things that pretty much everybody knows and everybody's aware of, but right now they've gotten their footing back, and they've got some great shows. Thunderbolts was amazing, and I think people are coming around to that. But
Daredevil's been knocking it out.
Daredevil was fantastic. I'm trying to think.
And then Wonder Man, of course.
Wonder Man was fantastic. So they're set up for success. However, it looks like there's a fly. The information that came out last week at Comic-Con, that they're kind of like wiping the slate. And we knew that there was going to be a soft reset after Secret Wars, which makes sense because, for one, we needed Iron Man and Cap back, or Steve Rogers rather. We had Cap. That's another thing. Is they did not give Anthony Mackie a chance to be Cap. They gave him a movie, what was it, like 5 years after the show, where he actually accepted the mantle for himself.
It did take him a while to make his first outing, his first solo outing.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, they didn't really address the things the gorillas in the room. I mean, the thing that makes, I've said this before, but the thing that makes Deadpool so entertaining is that he's so referential and he can talk about things that are going on in the world or whatever. But that's the thing when you're writing something and you know that there's a crowd that thinks a certain thing that's going to be a speed bump that you're going to have to overcome. You have the characters deal with the problem, and you guide the audience through that problem.
Yeah.
And you show them how this character can be what they don't think it should be. That's the whole point, is the character proving that they can be, that they have to sell the story. They have to sell the characters. That's always been a thing. But it just seemed like they just kind of got scared, or they played it safe, and I'm not sure a lot of that had to do with Kevin Feige necessarily, outside of him just being stretched way too thin because they had way too many irons in the fire. They had way too many properties coming out. So it looks like with Endgame, they're actually going to just kind of like wipe the slate clean, and they're saying that Endgame is going to come out again, or not Endgame, but Doomsday. Endgame, they're putting back into theaters, and they're putting extra scenes into it,
Which is interesting, yeah.
which is interesting. And that's that I was worried before when they cast Robert Downey Jr. And if you ask pretty much anybody in the fan base, everybody's kind of like meh on it. So we've been waiting to see what's going to happen if it is a good story reason for him to be Victor Von Doom and not a variant of Tony Stark, or if he is, like, make it make sense. Why is Robert Downey Jr. the only person that could play this role, as they said? The Russos coming back, to me, really wasn't a red flag, because they always said that they would come back for Secret Wars. That's what they wanted to do. So, I mean, the one for you, one for me kind of things, so they're doing Doomsday as well. So it seemed like scrambling when the whole Kang thing happened, and they got RDJ. They announced him at Comic-Con, which people are excited for. Everybody loves RDJ, and I'm sure it's going to be fine. But I'm still worried because it looks like a giant cash grab to just try to win the fans back. It looks like another audience fan service thing.
It's too much like acting because they knew that it was Robert Downey Jr. who first sort of kicked off the MCU, and it was his charisma and his just being that character. It's one of those pitch perfect castings, like Patrick Stewart as like Professor X. I still to this
iconic.
Day, and I love James McAvoy, but I will always see Patrick Stewart.
That's why we're seeing Patrick Stewart in the movie coming up, and not
even though this
McAvoy.
It's like I've seen people online be like, "Are we seriously going to kill Professor X for a fourth time on screen?"
Right.
Because I was like, and then I sat there and gee, they're right. They're probably going to do it again.
Yeah.
And
this might be it for him. Like, this might be his last movie.
Which it's becomes sad in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Big Star Trek fan, of course.
Yeah. I mean, him and Ian McKellen they're getting up there, man.
In years.
Yeah.
They have put in the work for sure.
Oh yeah. So I know that there are a lot of elements to it. Like, I mean, X-Men are going to be a part of it. And Kevin Feige was a young, I want to say, producer on the first X-Men movie.
Oh yeah. I didn't even
know that. Yeah, and so that's kind of like bringing them home for him. Like, this is personal.
Cool.
And that makes sense. I get that. Especially when you're doing incursions and all that kind of stuff. So you've got the multiverse and all that kind of, that makes sense. But why Robert Downey Jr.? Why him? because they've said before, Kevin Feige has said, when we do Victor Von Doom, it is going to be Victor Von Doom. We're going to do him right. It's not going to be anybody else. It's not going to be this. It's not going to be that. It is him. But then they cast RDJ.
Right.
So then there was, I want to say the Russos said that that he just is, that there's no in-universe, or somebody that has read the script or something, or somebody that's on the inside was saying that there is no universe, there's no reason given that RDJ, it's just there.
And they're just going to, you just have, like, doesn't he kind of look like, but then again, he's
exactly, they're going to ignore the fact that he looks like Tony Stark.
Unlike in Deadpool and Wolverine, when they did the, it's like, oh, it's Cap's here, but then it's like, oh wait, it's Johnny Storm. Like they did that. But I guess
exactly.
Deadpool can do that joke because he's Deadpool, but
exactly, yeah. So that seems like what they're doing is like, well, it's the multiverse, and Loki can look like an alligator or be a woman, so of course, I mean, there could be alternate version that just happens to look like him and has no substantial reason for it to be him, other than we just need to put butts in seats and we know that this works. And I mean, I get that from a certain point of view, but how many other people could play that role? People have been fan casting Doctor Doom forever, for a long time, and RDJ was gonna play him in the Fantastic Four. He was one of the people that were like one of the last choices before they decided to go a different direction.
Yeah, from Nip Tuck instead.
Yeah, exactly. And that would have been great. So I mean, RDJ wants to play. He's probably always had it in him that he still wants to do that role. But outside of just personal reasons, and what is the plot reason? What is the story reason? Like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're gonna reintroduce Endgame with new information, they're basically retconning at this point, where they're gonna go back and they're gonna add scenes to show you how he is Doctor Doom or how he became, and it blows my mind, because this is, as a writer, this is cheap. This is cheap ass weak shit. Like, it's weak sauce.
Which, by the way, I mean, when you first sent me that link last week talking about like the extra scenes, for some reason when I saw extra scenes, I thought it was just going to be like maybe another scene at the end. But like, I guess, are you saying like, is there going to be like more scenes throughout the movie that have been added?
So it seems like what everybody is saying, and what the general consensus is, Doomsday is a sequel to Endgame, and so they're just sweeping the whole Multiverse Saga under the rug.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
the multiverse of
yeah,
madness,
exactly.
I guess who else jumps universes? I guess Loki. Yeah, all the universe. Which I guess, I mean, is Loki still holding everything together, like in that wherever the everything verse, wherever he's at?
Yeah. I want it to make sense, and I'm trying to hold out hope, but the more I hear, because they said RDJ is the only person that could play this role. Why? And so the speculation is, because he looks like Tony Stark, and there's some kind of information, so there's some kind of tie in there. There's something that makes it make sense why it's him, why it looks like him. Why are the characters, everyone around him, gonna look at him and see his face and not think that he looks like Tony Stark?
Right. Which then again, I guess, there's still the thing that he's either going to be wearing a mask or he's going to be grossly disfigured. I mean, I assume.
Right. And so that makes sense if that's true.
But also, is it the one from the end of Fantastic Four though? But there's that.
Yeah.
So that's a different universe.
That is, yeah. So it is the Doom from the Fantastic Four universe.
So they're gonna have scenes in Avengers Endgame that they're adding in that are gonna be set in the Fantastic Four universe, or I guess at this point, because that's where he's from as well. Because we don't even know still exactly how the four of them got into 616.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the longer they withhold information, the more leaks come out.
The more people make
the more
AI-generated crap.
Yeah, and the more speculation, it seems like there's a problem. And we know, like, reshoots are just part of the landscape now. Right. Used to, that was a nail in the coffin. Like, oh no, the movie's in trouble. That's a problem. But nowadays they schedule that. That's always that just happens. And Marvel is one of the big ones where they have to go back and kind of make the story make sense, because they didn't even have scripts before, because they did previs, which is a whole nother thing, firing all the previs people. So
you're talking about the people who do like storyboarding and that type of thing,
no,
explain previs, I guess.
Okay, so previs is your pre-visualization, right? So the way they build movies is they pick their big set action pieces and they build the story around that.
Gotcha.
So to be able to put out movies as quickly as they do, they have the CG people, that's a horrible way. It's not CG.
The special effects people.
Thank you. The special effects people start building those scenes before they even start filming.
Gotcha.
And they build the entire story around it. That's why sometimes it seems a little disjointed, because they're just filling in the gaps. And they have writers on set, like they don't have a script before they've already set these big action pieces. And that's crazy, for one, which is why it was such a big deal when James Gunn said, I will not greenlight a film until the script is right, until it's ready.
Gotcha.
That was why that was such a big deal, because that should just be the normal thing to do. Right?
Seems to make sense. Yeah.
Right. And from what I understand, when Bob Iger came back and he kind of like tried to get the train back on the tracks, and Thunderbolts was the first one that kind of where they were able to have creative control and do it the way they wanted to. From what I understand, there was a script for Thunderbolts, and they have, at that point, they have been getting their scripts done before they start all that. But then you started running into where your special effects people are working overtime, and there's rumors of people sleeping under their desks. And I mean, it wasn't a good look, right?
Living off of ketchup and mustard packets.
Yeah.
Whatever they can find in the break room.
It creates the Hulk, or it gets the mustard again. So that's not a good look. So I mean, there have been so many things that they've had to overcome, and I guess the temptation is to go and bring back RDJ, bring back Chris Evans, and get butts in seats and make the money, and then maybe do the X-Men. Gotcha. Because that's what it looks like is where we're going with this. I don't want them to retcon everything that for the past decade, in it where they're just like, oh well, we flubbed, we messed up a little bit. I get that. Own it, lean into it, fix it. Like Deadpool seemed like they're owning the problem.
Right.
And that is how you win people back. You own the problem and you deal with it and you write better stories. You put out better movies.
You don't have Deadpool come out and make all the jokes, and then just continue to make the same mistakes, because then that's annoying.
Yeah.
That's where you start losing people. And I think, and the thing I worry about is from what I could tell, because I like to watch a lot of the react videos and things like that. Even though some people claim some of those guys kind of ham it up a bit sometimes. Some people are just like, some people with the fake tears are like, oh my god, this is so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
You can tell when people are faking it.
100%.
You can tell when people are genuinely fans of something and they're really excited, and that's what I like to see. But I think when there was that big reveal, I think they thought a lot of people were going to be like, he's back, I'm going to be there. But I think a lot of people are just sort of, instead of there's a lot of people scratching their heads. I think that's what that ended up doing, because they're like, huh. And not necessarily like,
a lot of people caught up in the moment because it's Comic-Con and excitement.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, but they're not sure at this point, because they're just like, I don't know how if that's gonna work, if that's really gonna do it. But
yeah. And also the script to Doomsday has been leaked all over the place. John Campea, Robert, I just lost his name. The guy that's on the John Campea show with him, which I happen to be Facebook friends with.
Oh, how about that?
But they've read the script, and they said that there's no reason given in Doomsday, and he does not take his mask off at all.
Gotcha.
In Doomsday. But they're being told that the reason is because they're setting up a bigger reveal for Secret Wars.
Gotcha. Well, he never takes his mask off either, because the thing I know about Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU is he's definitely got the biggest paycheck of all of the other actors, like almost combined even.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I think a lot of people are just like, so let me get this straight. So once again, you're going to bring him in, he's going to be wearing a mask the whole time. So once again, it could have been anybody, but you're going to pick the guy who's going to be the most expensive person, who's then going to take, and that's going to take away from, the rest of the movie budget.
Yeah. Simu Liu, did you see what he said online?
I did not see
So
that.
he filmed his scenes. Simu Liu is always online. He's on Twitter and Threads and all that kind of stuff, and he's very in touch with the fans. That's actually how he got cast as Shang-Chi. He was like, Marvel, look me up, hit me up.
And he was great.
Yeah, he said it was kind of like him not trying to be mean, but he was like, okay, so he said, I've never seen anything like this. You go on the set, and there's literally a village of trailers called Downeyland. And there's a sign. And RDJ invites people in, and they've got chefs, they got all this food, and they've got all this stuff, and it's insane how much they're paying this man.
Right, to be a guy in a mask.
Yeah. And RDJ has so much power, they started filming it, and he was just gonna voice and have somebody, and they got started and got into it, and he was like, no, they had already filmed a few scenes, like just filmed days. I don't know how I don't know if it was weeks or days or months, but they had been filming, and he said, no, I can't do this. This isn't working. I have to be in the mask. And so they reshot everything. And that was probably why they pushed it back a year, if I had to guess. But they're saying the reason right now, they're saying that RDJ was cast because he has the most expressive eyes. And that, how many other people could have played Doctor Doom who have great expressive eyes? Tom Hardy, for one. Christopher Nolan loves putting a mask on that man and just showing his eyes. There are several people. I mean,
you mentioned Cillian Murphy too.
Cillian Murphy supposedly was up for the role.
It would have been great as well. I mean, he could be menacing for sure.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Red Eye, that was a good one. Good thriller.
That was one of his first big ones, I think.
Yeah.
Before he was cast in Batman, I believe.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know, that just, it seems so cheap. It feels like a slap in the face, because it feels like they've been lying to us, saying, oh, no, trust us, there's a good reason, but the more that comes out and the closer this movie gets, they're like, we're just going to tell them what they want to hear until they see the footage, and then they'll just be fine with it. It's like, I had a relationship one time, and the girl did something that I wasn't cool with, and her sister said, oh, he'll get over it. Just keep on going. Like, you don't need to apologize or anything. Just pretend it didn't happen, and he'll adjust. Right? So that's what this feels like.
I think communication is what fixes things. I don't know.
That's horrible advice.
Yeah. Just pretend like it didn't happen. Okay. Yeah. It's a weird take on life for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I mean, that's what it feels like. The further this goes on, and the more it keeps sprinkling out information, it feels like, oh, we told you this, that it wasn't a cash grab, that it wasn't desperation,
some sort of RDJ money laundering scheme.
Yeah, that we had we had this great reason. It was a real reason, that way the fans wouldn't turn on them until the fans get to see the trailer, and then they'll just be fine with it, and we don't have to do any of that kind of stuff we promised. So I don't know, I don't like that. That's what has me worried, is because if they do that, there are going to be people who are okay with that and go along with it, and even probably tease the people who are upset about it. It's like, oh, just get over it. What's your problem? It was a great movie. RDJ is great. Blah blah blah. That's what they're banking on. If that's what this is, I'm not saying that's what this is, but it's starting to feel that way. Where they're going to make new scenes for Endgame and retcon that movie, that it undermines everything that they've built in the characters, in the story, everything that they've done.
It is such an odd move, now I think about it again, because just like, you have one movie that kind of made this sort of definite, like, well, this is, everything that happened here was set in stone, and then you can go back however many years later, re-release the movie in theaters with new scenes in it that change how that movie is probably going to work, and then how stuff goes forward. It is an odd thing, because I really haven't seen anything like that before.
Mm-hmm. It feels like a literal comic book retcon, where they're just like, oh, don't worry about that, it's actually this. And that kind of move makes sense for James Gunn and DC, because they're literally changing hands and changing universes. And so James Gunn is like, well, some things we're going to keep and some things we're not. If we reference it, it's canon. And if not, just don't worry about it. And that makes sense for that situation. But when you do that, it's because, and you say, well, it's because we fucked up, but we're not gonna acknowledge that. We're just gonna do it, and then you're gonna be okay with it.
Yeah. Then you get to that point where, because like I think it's one of the criticisms that MCU fans get, is they're just like absolute gluttons, and then they're just like little chubby kids, or just like, yes, please.
Yeah, it's like
they keep feeding
because
their ice cream,
because we know if we put that Marvel logo on it, you're gonna go anyway, so we can just do whatever the hell we want.
You can't even move. You're just sitting there in your high chair. You can't go anywhere. So we're just gonna keep feeding you. We'll keep feeding you, and he'll be like, I love it, no matter whatever it tastes like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't even like this flavor, but okay.
Just be happy it's food.
I don't like mint chocolate chip. Oh, okay, I'll say.
I'm allergic to mint. All right. Yeah, that's. I don't like. I don't know.
It seems a bit messy, for sure.
Yeah.
And that, especially how you've laid it out.
Yeah. It feels like an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
They're just like, they did something wrong, and instead of owning up to it, or are trying to be better or do better, they're just like, well, you should just be happy that I'm still here. And they, you know what I mean? They twist it, and they're the victim because you called them out on their shit. You know what I mean?
Right. I think there should be, on some level, we should still be able to hold them to like a standard of quality.
Yeah.
As much as like people
that they established themselves. See, that's the thing.
True.
If they hadn't set us up and said this is what it is, that's fine. But to be fair, to a certain degree, Bob Dylan comes to mind, where he's like, look, I wrote those songs, and when I perform them, I can do them any way I want to do them.
Right.
So whatever, they're my songs.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's Bob Dylan. Nobody else does that shit. So I mean, I don't know. That's a different medium than film, where you're telling stories, and the whole reason they work is because of the consistency.
Yeah. You say that, they set the rules and then they're breaking their rules. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes us all sort of like, huh? It's like, because we're all in your, they're the dungeon masters.
Mm-hmm.
We're all the players, and we're trying to keep up. But it's like, oh, I keep changing the rules. Yeah, this game is gonna, like, at a certain point, this game's not gonna make any sense anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then they set you up to expect one thing and then pull the rug out, and then when you get upset, it's your fault. Oh well, you weren't tracking well enough. I don't know. It feels like you're playing a game with somebody who keeps changing the rules and making up rules as they go. Nobody wants to play that game. Nobody wants to play with that person.
And then there's also that part of me that's still gonna be like, just gonna go like, every time you see two characters interact that you've never seen interact before, like, I see like, Ben Graham talking to the Wakandans and all that stuff.
Yeah, and there are gonna be people who are just like, oh, why are you so bent out of shape? It's a comic book movie.
I'm still gonna have a Shang-Chi Gambit fight at some point.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, that trailer. Hopefully they don't hold on to it till Comic-Con.
Which how do you feel the state of the trailers these days? Do you feel like the trailers are still doing that problem where they give away too much or they do too many trailers? Do you think is the problem there? I usually stop watching
in general,
because they usually do. I feel like superhero movies, there's the teaser, there's the first trailer, and then they usually do another trailer. And I usually drop off at least by that second one because I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna go see it. I don't really.
Then they start doing all the TV spots that just like
because
tell all the jokes that
they just get so worried that people are not gonna be on board, so they try to like show a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, because they're trying to be part of the news cycle that in our day and age it's not even a 24-hour, it's a couple hours, and somebody's moved on to something else. So if you're not in their face, then you get forgotten, or they're worried that you'll get forgotten, instead of just being, like Steve Martin said, be so good that they can't ignore you.
Right.
I mean, it's a different world, I guess, but the rules, that still applies. If it doesn't matter who you are, if you put out good content, people are going to see it. Godzilla -1 came out of nowhere.
Right.
It was fantastic.
I kind of had to go looking for it almost because I was like, I can't remember where I saw the trailer for it. I think it must have been, it was probably on some horror site or something like that. And I was like, well, I'm going to go check it out. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The guy wrote, directed, and did all the special, like the CGI for it himself. Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, you want to get something made. I mean, and that's why it was so damn cheap to make.
And the benefit of that, though, being is it was, his singular vision and, like, his labor of love, and it definitely, you can see that.
It looked a lot better than a lot of movies today.
And because, like, so many of them are so disjointed, like, people aren't communicating, and, like, so
because there's a script.
It's a script, yeah, apparently. Sometimes they just do this,
and you've got people, and people are acting to a tennis ball. Yeah. Like Wonder Man
just shoot from the hip.
Yeah, Wonder Man talked about that.
Yes, yeah.
Like Wonder Man seems like Marvel acknowledging the problems that fans have with their things that they do, and that's the thing. It's like if you're going to Is it we're in on the joke too? Is it that, or is it like, hey, I get it, we're gonna do better?
That's a good point too. Yeah, so not only do you have the Deadpool movies, but you also have Wonder Man, who also took it a step further and is talking about just the art of making a film from start to finish, from concept to like the storyboards to like the rehearsals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, once again, it's another them being like, look, we know how a movie should be, like, we've just laid out how a movie should be made. We know how to do it. It's like, okay, well, now you have to, continue on with it. You can't just turn around and be like, oh, but we're going to actually make our movies our own way. It's like, you can't, once again, you can't do that. You can't joke about it and then, like, turn around and, like, continue to do things that, I guess you're going to have another Deadpool movie where he just makes fun of, like, how you kids, did it that way.
I know, and that's one of the things that made Marvel so good, like I said, their consistency, but they had a 5-year and a 10-year plan. And that's one of the reasons why everybody has to sign this big long contract and everything, and why they have this the machine of how they make the movies, and they want to get them out in a certain time.
The machine at the end of the She-Hulk season. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin the Machine.
Yeah, and obviously some of them go off the rails, like the finale of She-Hulk. But I mean, that's a lot of the problems were with the writing, like She-Hulk, different writers' rooms, just kind of trying to mishmash and put together something based on what they already had. Technically, they did that with Avengers, the first Avengers, where Joss Whedon had to come in and script doctor and basically redo the whole thing. He was pissed off that he didn't get a writing credit because he basically like fixed 99% of it.
And he hopped over and took over Zack Snyder in Justice League as well. He was busy for that time.
Yeah. And you can tell the seams are showing in Justice League. Like, you can tell.
In the Whedon cut, and then when you see them, like, they're not in the Snyder cut. Which I've seen both. And I don't know, I still to this day, I think there is a lot of stuff I love about the Snyder cut, to be honest. But like, some weird stuff too. Some scenes I feel like just went on for a little too long, like the women singing to Aquaman. Like, I don't know, I just thought that scene went on for a little. Just like, okay, we get it. You're all happy that he saved your village, but I don't know. I just felt like that scene went on for too long. But,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
I definitely was not on any. I was not one of those crazy release the Snyder cut. I mean, I'll watch it if you did. They released it. I watched it, but like, I wasn't threatening to burn people's houses down.
It was all right. Yeah. That's a whole thing. It's like I like Snyder. He's a great director and writer. Yeah. But that just kind of went off the rails. Yeah. I mean, any great creative, if they have too much of themselves and they don't have a buffer, they can easily go off the Taika Waititi. They can easily go off the rails. They need that buffer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doomsday, I hope that it's good. I hear the trailer was great. I've watched trailer breakdowns and people that were in the room. Brandon from I'm sorry, I'm going blank on names, but he interviews them a lot. I can't think of his last name, but he said in the room it felt like Avengers. It felt like Endgame again, and everybody. He said that there were people. Of course, everybody's there. It's a press event. And it's the movie theaters are putting on this event so that studios can come and show them why they should have their movie in their theater, right? And that's why it's such this big to do. But he said that you're in there and you're trying to be press, but when they showed it, he was a fan again, and and that seems to be the general consensus of what happened to everybody, because as soon as they played it the first time, he said, play it again. They did. They played it a second time. And which is probably one of the reasons why we have such detailed breakdowns now. But it sounds great. I'm gonna enjoy it no matter what, but the writer in me, the person who wants to make films and who has been a part of this process and a storyteller since I was 12, I hate this. I hate that part of it.
I get it, because once again, there's been that discourse
because it suits.
There's been that discourse about people being like, oh, this is not cinema. This is ridiculous. We've had the Scorsese quotes, and I don't know if he's ever gone back on that.
Exactly.
And it's just like, look, it's just like I will see every Scorsese movie.
Who's in a Star Wars movie now?
Who's now in a Star Wars movie? Yeah, I don't get that either, because it's like, dude, it's the same type of because it's like I don't watch this stuff. I don't come here to be like, oh, I'm
Star
looking for
Wars
Oscar film by any means, but yeah,
the first Star Wars, to its credit, it changed the game,
right?
And the writing phenomenal, and shooting, everything.
Because I think there's one thing I've learned after all these years of being a movie fan myself, is that like movies can be whatever they want to be, and they can be good at that as long as they do it. But I think I guess our problem with the MCU is that we feel like they could be putting a little bit more heart into these things. We're just not quite seeing that as much in the movies in the past few outings.
It feels like the suits have taken over, and it's like, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain kind of thing.
Or don't pay attention to the scene behind the credits, I guess, is the other problem, because I think that's been the whole, like, it's just sort of like, well, here we are at the Marvel movie, let's sit down, credits for other movies, okay, it's to begin, and you're just you're already at the beginning of the movie, you're just like, I wonder what the scene at the end of the credits is going to be, and I don't want to even have that thought anymore. I want to have a movie that's like, I came here for this movie, and I'm excited for this movie, and yet the scene at the end is just icing on the cake, or whatever, just the whipped cream on top of the latte, but or whatever. You don't put whipped cream on a latte. Okay,
I don't know.
It's on your
I
frap.
don't drink a whole lot of coffee.
You put the whipped cream on your frap, on the top of your frap. So.
I mean, that's a good point. The end credits used to set up the next movie, like when you had Colton go look at people trying to pull Thor's hammer off the ground.
Yeah.
I want to say Matt Damon was one of those people in the truck. Matt Damon pops up everywhere in costume and unrecognizable.
I don't think I ever noticed him in that one. I mean, I've noticed him when he was in Ragnarok, of course, because he's his face is like front and center. But I'm gonna have to go back and watch the original Thor again.
Yeah, he's sitting on tailgate on a red truck, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
With a mullet.
Wait, wasn't that character in another? Was he in one of the Deadpool movies too? I think, or something like that. Was he the guy sitting on a truck? I'm gonna have to go back and look at all of them. I forget which movie that was, but I think that character has popped up a few times.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so like that's the thing, is like they earned our trust, and now the trust is gone. And instead of saying, hey, you know what, we're gonna make it right, well, they're saying the right thing, but are they? I'm starting to wonder or doubt that they're gonna do the right thing. They're just saying the right thing because they want us to come back. And I mean, it feels like a bad relationship. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Baby, I'll do better, I swear.
Yeah, just come back. Now that you're here, go get me a beer.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You said we were gonna go to the beach. No.
I hate the beach. I don't like the sand.
Next month, maybe. Yeah, I can see how this can kind of start feeling that way for a lot of people.
I'm worried. I'm worried that it's going to be just like Endgame, that there's going to be some fan service. I could be wrong. Hopefully, I am completely wrong, and the scenes that they put into Endgame fix all the plot holes.
Yeah.
They fix all the issues.
Of course, yeah.
And that's what they're doing, so that they can move forward with the story that they kind of nerfed the future of, because they thought it was, they're putting a bow on it, putting a big ribbon on it. Yeah.
That's kind of the issue with, because, like I said, we've had this, movies that were going to happen that didn't happen because certain actors, this, that, and the other happened, and they couldn't. Actors, being human beings, can only do so much, and we're not perfect, and stuff happens, and we end up like getting canceled or something like that, or just like we're just not able to act anymore for whatever reason. It's not the same as like, you know, when it comes to like comic books, you just draw that person again. You know, you just draw them again, and they'll be there as long as the person can draw. So,
yeah, or you start a new universe. Yeah, I mean there were so many fan castings for the new Kang. I mean, there's so many people that they could have just replaced him for the same reason. Like this is what blows my mind. If they're going to go forward with RDJ and pretend and just like gloss over it like, oh well, people from the multiverse can look like other people,
right?
Whatever.
So then just get another Kang with another face.
Exactly. Yeah. But they're not going to do that because of reasons. Like, you could have still just kept on the same path and fixed whatever problem. You could have just rehired somebody. I mean, the Doom thing supposedly was always the plan for him to come in and kind of the Kang Dynasty, for Doom to sweep in and do Secret Wars.
Yes.
But they had to bring him in earlier than they were planning and change Kang Dynasty to Doomsday. But I don't know. I'm conflicted. I'm very conflicted because I love Marvel, and I love even the bad movies. I can find something that I enjoy, that I appreciate about them.
I don't know. I might have been like the only person who really liked the Eternals. I don't know. I liked the Eternals. I thought it was fun, and I wish they kind of played off of that more, because there's still, I mean, in the universe, there's still that half frozen, half baked, what was it called?
Celestial,
just up at the top of the North Pole, which, you know, in the comics, when the Jonathan.
Oh, you mean in the ocean?
In the ocean, yeah. In the Jonathan Hickman run, they used it, and they created another Avengers base inside of it. But like I said, it was at the North Pole in the comics, so I guess it's just in the ocean as far. But I kind of wish they'd done more of that, because, you know, or at least like have people trying to get at it, because it's like, you know, full of, you know, weird metals and materials and stuff like that like, you know, didn't come from.
And yeah, they did that a little bit in Brave New World.
Yes, they had that.
Which was that was another. Why did they change the name to Brave New World? Because it conjures up the ideas of the book Brave New World,
right,
which it had no tie to whatsoever.
Right.
So
it's an odd title for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. And I, like I said, I could be wrong, but my intuition on things like this is, I've learned to trust it to a certain degree, because I mean, all of you neurodivergent people out there know that you can see around the corner for things like this, and you're always typically ahead of the curve, looking like a crazy person trying to tell people about it, until 5 years later when it happens, and then they pretend like you never said a thing, and you're just like, I've been saying this for the past 5 years.
It's the nerd's dilemma.
Yeah.
Like, I knew what was going on the whole time. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should just get on Polymarket or something.
Start making some ethical bets. I think as long as it's within the MCU, I think it's all good.
Did you see?
Don't bet on, you know, world events. So,
or people's deaths.
Just have some class, you know.
Yeah. Did you see the latest John Oliver episode?
I have not yet.
Okay. Yeah, he talks about Polymarket, and I forget the other one.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they're
there's a few
sham.
Yeah, they're gross.
Yeah, they're gross.
Really gross.
Very gross.
Days. Yeah. Also, I guess as far as this trailer goes, I mean, is there a date for this trailer yet, or are they still?
Not as far as I know. Typically, like I think it's the only trailer that was shown at CinemaCon that wasn't released that day or the day after or something like that. Sometimes there is an exclusive trailer that has extra footage in it for Comic-Con, CinemaCon, these kind of type of things that never see the light of day for the public. So maybe they're still recutting a trailer. I don't know. But it sounds like they've got a winner from all the reactions. So I mean, it could be a week, it could be a month. There are people online that are worried that they're going to hold on to it until Comic-Con in, I want to say, June, July.
I mean, it isn't coming out till Christmas, so there's that. Yeah, I can see how they could
Yeah.
wait till like at least the latter half.
Except they're competing with Dune 3,
True.
who already has a trailer and shown the first 7 minutes at CinemaCon.
And also, you know, has a very rabid fan base of its own.
Exactly.
So that I think a lot of other people have already pre-bought those tickets.
Yeah, and what I've heard is people's favorite thing at CinemaCon was Dune and then Doomsday.
Dune, then Doomsday.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And this whole Infinity Vision bullshit, like, that just sounds like sour grapes. Do you know what that is?
Infinity Vision?
So, okay. The Dune 3 secured the IMAX theaters for the first 3 weeks after the movie releases.
Right.
So there are no screens for Doomsday.
Gotcha. To be an IMAX.
To be an IMAX. So Jumanji was going to come out a week before, and they moved it to actual Christmas, but these are like September movies. So there was a week ahead where they could have just changed the date and bumped it up a week and got the screens for a week, and maybe even like got a foothold before Dune dropped. But they decided to double down. They decided not to, and they introduced Infinity Vision, their own version of IMAX. It's like there's a certain level of quality, and Disney has done this before for other stuff, but it just feels like they're making all the wrong moves again.
It's just like another made-up Disney word.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like we have this version and other stuff, but like this is the Disney version, so we call it this. Like,
I know, and they have been so dedicated to IMAX. If you go onto Disney Plus, there is an IMAX dedicated drop down where you can see movies in the original IMAX. I'm losing my words here.
And aspect ratio.
Aspect ratio. Thank you. But now they're going to say, well, okay, well, there are certain theaters that have certain laser projectors, have certain size screens, and have certain sound requirements. And though, if they meet these requirements, you can go see our movie in those, and we're going to call it Infinity Vision.
Gotcha. It's also going to be in 3D whenever there's a 3D, or there's no 3D.
I mean, somewhere there might
has
be.
3D come and gone? I mean, is it?
I don't know.
I can't remember the last time I saw it.
Something else is coming out in 3D. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's the Billie Eilish concert movie with James Cameron is going to be in 3D.
Right, it's James Cameron.
Yeah, exactly. He's holding out hope, just like Avatar. So
I still need to watch. I need to watch the second and the third one and kind of get into this.
I saw the second one.
I want to be a part of this conversation. The problem is I've seen the first one. My wife has not. So the thing is, if I want to watch a 3-hour movie, which is there's no way that's happening in our house where I'm going to watch a 3-hour movie uninterrupted by myself. So she has to watch it too.
Because cats, right?
Yes, I need to go back. I need to go back and have her watch the first one, which don't get me wrong. I guess I don't mind watching the first one, but I guess that when the whole time I'm just like I'm sitting here for 3 hours being like I just want to get to the next two.
I know,
So
and
we haven't gotten to it yet.
For a movie that was just kind of like okay.
And I appreciated the artistry of that first one. I liked it a lot, and I remember I think I saw that one in 3D too, and I think it was a lot. It was a lot of fun in that regard. But yeah, but as I think back on it, I was just like, I guess story-wise, it was just kind of once again the rose everyone called it like Dances with Smurfs, and that's how it was.
Yeah, like I said, certain creatives need a buffer.
Just so many ideas, but you need somebody who knows how to write a compelling, really new.
Yeah. He's always done great things for the technology.
Absolutely.
And it was this big to do. He's been waiting decades for the technology to catch up to the ability to make this film. So yeah. But yeah, and now he was gonna make a 4 and a 5. But now I think he's kind of accepted the fact that the idea's run out of steam.
It kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, and he might later at some point, but
running out of elements. I mean, they can only do like an earth after that, because they did the first one was wind, the second one was water.
Somebody saw Avatar at some point and was like, "That's the thing."
It seemed like they were going. And speaking of leaks, so the poor Avatar movie, which also got leaked in its entirety this entire week, and people,
the whole thing.
So many people have seen this movie already too that it's popped up as the top most watched movies of the week on Letterboxd. Is because that's how many people have now seen it leaked, and they're demanding that the actors and everyone who worked on it are demanding they do a theatrical release now.
I saw that part.
Paramount's being like, "No, we're still just going to put it on Paramount Plus in September."
Wow. I mean, just go ahead and release it anyways. At this point,
I don't know why they didn't plan a theatrical release anyway.
That's the thing. Don't fight it. Accept it and move with the thing. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it got leaked. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to make everybody wait. Well, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because by the time that movie comes out, nobody's going to care. You go ahead and you put it out and you make a big deal about it. And just accept that that's the way it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Accept the world for the way it is, not the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they're hoping everybody will forget, and then they'll go see it in the theater or something. I don't know, but
I think at this point, they're still only planning on releasing it on Paramount Plus, which I really think that like people you could get people in the theater to see that movie if it hadn't gotten leaked like it did. I don't think people will still go see it.
Strike while the iron's hot. Like while people are talking about it. Like you have a built-in audience ready to go right now.
People love that original series so much, and after the disappointment that M. Night Shyamalan movie was, the Netflix series was much better. At least as far as I could tell, I thought it was.
I haven't seen it yet.
They at least did I think a better job than it's just you can't tell that story in like an hour and a half. I'm sorry, you can't do a full the full season in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
exactly, yeah.
But this new animated movie about Aang and his friends when they're slightly older, so they'll probably be more like adult, oriented action and stuff like that. I think everyone's really on board for
by the original creators.
Yes, that's what everyone wants. I think it does best in the animated realm. I think some stories just do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The fact that animation isn't taken seriously is a shame.
To this day, a big shame for sure.
You'd think Pixar would have changed that, but
I loved Hoppers though. I did go see Hoppers in the
theater. Oh yeah?
I thought that one was good.
Like fun.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the theater in too long now. have other things that I have to worry about first. And that's okay. Just to dip my finger in it, okay? The whole Tim Rothman thing, like I get it. Okay, so he's the CEO of Sony, and at CinemaCon, he called out the theaters and basically said everything that the people have been saying for a long time. It's too expensive. It's too crowded, or the candy is too expensive. There's too many trailers before the movie starts. All these things, right? He called them out and said, "Hey, you're driving people away. Stop doing these things. Stop leaning in on ads. Stop depending on ads."
Yeah. Enough of the Coca-Cola ads. Yeah.
On its surface, that sounds like hell yeah, absolutely, yeah, we're on board. But the truth is a little different, is a little bit more nuanced. And John Campea just happened to release a breakdown of why theaters are expensive about 2 months or so ago. And so John Campea used to work for AMC. He has been an insider on theaters and the movie business for a long, long time. Knows people and knows how the system works. He goes through and he compares movie prices. Okay, we're gonna look at I think it was 2001 versus 2025. All right, and he goes through progressively. Okay, well, there's a big jump here and a big jump there. Let's see why it happened. Ultimately, it's because we're paying, the studios are paying exorbitant amounts for actors and to make these films. Case in point, Doomsday, paying Robert Downey Jr. I want to say for Endgame, he got $30 million or $300 million or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, I don't remember, or I don't know how much he's being paid for this movie and the next one. But it's probably another ungodly amount. That's fine. Well, I don't want to say that's fine, but I'm saying that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because they're spending billions, almost billions, to make this movie. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Yes.
Or millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Scientifically speaking, a lot.
Yes, thank you, appreciate that. So that's why ticket prices have gone up, because the movie theaters cut the deals, or I'm sorry, not the studios cut the deals with the movie theaters, and they split the profits. It's not 50-50.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like 90-10. Or if they've got enough of a strong arm, they'll say opening weekend, you get nothing. They are strong arming the theaters. And so the theaters, you can see, okay? So theaters have put in all these extra laser projectors. They've put in the state-of-the-art sound systems. They've put in reclining seats. Like, they've put in restaurants.
Yeah, they've upped the menu. Like almost every theater I've been in now. Yeah, you can get
liquor licenses.
Full meal, booze, beer, and
they've done all these upgrades to try to bring people in. But and you can see they have closed a lot of theaters to try to make this happen. AMC closed, like, they had different lines of theaters, and they closed a lot of their classic brand theaters to help pay for getting all these upgrades.
Rest in peace, the poor little Sugar Creek Theater that was in Bella Vista there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't get to go to it, but yeah. So they're strong arming to the point where these theaters are just trying to stay alive. They're trying to survive, and so they have to. Basically, what they do is they are concession sellers.
Yeah.
They are candy stores. That's what they do. They don't make money off the movies.
They make money off the snacks.
That's why they have to sell, because if they're paying X amount and it costs to make it break even, they have to make the tickets X amount, but so they have to bump it to make a profit, right? They are running off of extremely thin profit margins just to make this happen. And Tim Rothman gets up there, fully knowing this, being a CEO of Sony Pictures, gets up at CinemaCon, of all places, and rubs their noses in it.
That is kind of gross.
It's dirty. Yeah. It's disgusting.
It's like these are the people who are distributing your film. This is how people see it, man.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried to pay the electric bill on a 12 megaplex theater to run the AC at all times?
Man.
Or the staff? Like, I mean, that's another thing. It's like, well, I can't find anybody. We got these teenagers or whatever, you know. They're running on slim profit margins. They're just trying to keep the doors open, man.
So I think more of those theaters need, like, what I mean. I will say, when we lived in the Fayetteville region, we loved the AMC because
you're just gonna dox us like that.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I'm just kidding.
we live roughly in
we live in Northwest Arkansas. That's we've said that.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Whatever. If you want to tell them your address, I mean, that's up to you.
I will say that
I'm sure your wife will be just fine with that.
AMC had the best. AMC had the best deal in town. The problem being is now we live up here, and it's a bit of a drive to get down there to that AMC. And like I said, the one that was up here is now gone. It's completely bulldozed. And and every once in a while, when a couple of movies come out that we want to see, my wife and I will go up to the Alamo Draft House. Of course, we always get
in Springfield.
Yeah,
which is great. Which Sony owns.
Which Sony? Okay, well I didn't know that either. Interesting.
Yeah, which now they, instead of writing your orders, they want you to order it on your phone.
There is that. We noticed that last time. We kind of missed.
So instead of put your phone exactly. Instead of getting kicked out of the movie for pulling out your phone.
Oh, they don't do that either.
Nope. Yeah.
I mean,
because you've got to have your phone to make the orders.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
They had a little video at the beginning of the movie with Bob Odenkirk, and he was kind of doing that too. He's like, you can so keep your phone away unless you're trying to make an order, and he kept that little stipulation.
That's crazy.
They always have some actor come up, because they shoot a lot of those promos, which I love that. I love that. The fanfare that they have with those things. I love how they do all those little pre-show.
And they're especially filmed a little.
There's a love for the theater, like in that chain, and that definitely still shines through.
But that's the thing. It's like Alamo Draft House is so sporadic. Like they're only in certain major cities. Like they're not in every hometown or within 50 miles of people everywhere.
It's definitely more niche.
So they don't have to spend that much money. Right. And they're getting indie films and movies that you wouldn't be able to see anywhere else, really, which is great.
Movies that are hard to find too. It's a really love for that.
Yeah, and theaters have been doing that stuff too. I mean, there are matinees still. I'm just saying, Sony knows. Not only do they know because they are a studio, they run a theater business. And how much does it cost to buy concessions at Alamo Draft House?
I mean, it is a bit pricey, for sure. We don't go there very often, so that's why it's kind of a treat. But
I mean, the food is good. Don't get me wrong.
The food it is good as far as.
But there's a bar. There's
full bar.
There's incredible concessions. There are products. They have a store where you can buy knickknacks and keychains and T-shirts.
They sell a lot of stuff from Mondo as well. I think they kind of have a partnership with them as well.
Yeah, posters like that. I mean, I don't understand why movie theaters don't do that. That there's not a shop where you can go buy the poster of the movie that you just saw.
Make it a fun experience. Make it more of a celebration of the movie because.
Yeah.
A lot of people go there to really get into the movie they're seeing. I mean, you got all those people who just go to see movies and they're like, this better be good. And then it's it wasn't as good as I thought it was. And then they walk out. But I think there's a lot of people that still like to go to the movies just for
Yeah. I mean,
like the Mario movie.
So many people. It's always been said that it's basically certain people, that's their church.
Yeah. And the kind of that promo they'd show with Nicole Kidman and at the AMC theaters, they kind of talk about that's kind of like the opening prayer as they kind of some people have dubbed it, which I'm kind of like that is kind of fun.
Hilarious.
Although I don't know, I was getting a little tired of the promo because how much we were going to go see, because we could afford to on the Stubbs thing for sure. That was such a good.
Yeah, so, those are great deals. Unfortunately, where we live, Malco is the dominant theater chain, and they don't have a thing like that.
And there's an indie theater in the downtown region, but they kind of same problem. They don't really have they don't have any sort of deal because it's just sort of locally owned.
In Bentonville, I mean, because this is Walmart land. Yeah. That they can kind of cater to the Walmart the people who make a lot of money.
Right. So a lot of movies with old people wearing cowboy hats and just sort of reflecting on their lives, like those types of movies. But a lot of sunsets.
I've been there several times. It's really nice, and there are small, intimate theaters. That's fantastic. I saw The Flash there. It was the last movie I saw there.
Nice.
That was an experience. But yeah, I mean, they have concessions and they'll bring you food. It's a lot like Alamo Draft House.
One of the movies we saw there at that particular theater was A Quiet Place 2, and what I got one of their they got a really nice chicken sandwich. The problem was it's a quiet place. So as it really begins, you forget that it's almost like it's not just silence. It's almost like a vacuum.
Yeah.
So like when you take a bite of a chicken sandwich, while you're trying so hard. You're trying so hard not to make any noise, but I was like, because you're like, I need something to roar. I need something to smash or something like that. So
Should have got the crispy, man.
Yeah, I should have. But yeah,
the lettuce, I guess. Man.
It was a big sandwich, and I was trying to eat it.
It'd be hilarious. I got the salad.
Yeah. Is there a rabbit in here?
Oh, man. My favorite thing in Alamo is the churro popcorn.
Oh yeah, that's such good flavored popcorn. They always have like themed drinks and themed food.
Yeah, there's like, I want to say there was like a banana split alky shake or alcohol shake.
Oh yeah.
Ghost is scratching it up back there.
The pizza, yeah, always pizza.
Yeah,
we always end up getting pizza, I think.
Like, yeah, when I was driving up there a lot for work, I went and saw several movies, and I didn't even bother buying dinner. I would just go eat there.
Right, get a little table and everything. It's great. Mm-hmm. Check out an Alamo Draft House if there's one near you, or even an hour away. I think it's worth the drive.
We were gonna get one. They bought a drive-in theater near us, and they were going to convert it. But
I was so excited for that.
But apparently it fell through.
I was like, they're gonna show so many Godzilla movies on that. It's gonna be the first Alamo Draft House with a drive-in. It would have been so great.
I know.
Oh well.
That would have been historic to be the first place with a drive-in.
Yeah.
To like show all the like the 1950s sci-fi and horror movies, and
they would have gone nuts with that. And you know they're gonna do it somewhere else. I mean, since it fell through here, I mean it's gonna happen somewhere else.
Like, why did it fall through? I wonder. Was it like a dispute over the land or something crazy?
I'm not quite sure. I know they were gonna build a bunch of houses around it too, but I think it just comes down to we just can't have all the nice things here.
Yeah, we almost got a Costco, but Walmart drove them away.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, yeah. I think Walmart ended up buying the land out from under them or something crazy. Yeah, it can be pretty dirty. But anywho. Yeah, all right. So I just hope that the bean counters and the suits don't ruin Doomsday, and let creatives be creative. I saw a I want to say it was a TikTok of this young guy saying the reason movies aren't good like they used to be is because of da 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 da. And I was like, that's not true.
Yeah, have a bunch of weird excuses that don't make any sense.
The reason movies are not as good as they used to be is because they are run by accountants and not by creatives. And studios used to be run by creatives.
And they ran through multiple focus groups and that type of thing. And I don't know, I think we can deal with a little bit less of that these days.
100%, yeah. Michael Ovitz, I want to say, was like one of the last great studio heads. Ghostbusters, all your favorite 1980s movies, like he greenlit those, and was one of the last great studio heads. His book is fantastic, by the way. He's got interesting stories too.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what they used to do, and I don't know if they still do it this way, but they would go and this is how they did Ghostbusters. They would get a script. And of course, it was written by like Dan Aykroyd or some of the actors or some of the creatives. They would put that together and they would create. And this is kind of how Ovitz did it. Is like they would create a package, and they would have the actors already signed on to play certain roles, and they would have everything set. And then they would bring it to the studio, where the studio they didn't have to do any of the work. They just say yes.
Nice.
And that's just not how things work anymore.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that this was a different one. There was a lot of complaining, but I'm there. Not everything can be sunshine and roses and rainbows and kittens.
I think this was a good one. Let us kind of breathe a little bit, because I think we were having a hard time just juggling every single bit of CinemaCon news from last week. That was a bit of a juggling act.
Yeah. It's. I mean. there's so many good things to talk about right now. It's an embarrassment of riches. Like we debated doing the Clayface trailer, which looks fantastic, like legit body horror, rated R. Yes,
more of that.
More of that, please.
And I'm all for that too, and I think definitely DC is kind of like had played with that a little bit with more of like the mid-budget, you know, like Joker, for instance, you know, and how well that did, at least the first one did. You know, it's like I'm totally fine with like lower budget comic book movies.
Exactly. Well. Yeah, that's a lot of times the problems that you have to overcome are what those challenges are what makes you get more creative and make better movies. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of Elseworlds, that they should have done that with the whole Multiverse Saga. They should have just had these one-off things and then brought them together. But
brought them that way.
They had the opportunity to just start from the bottom and not spend a whole lot of money and like Wonder Man, just do Wonder Man projects where they introduce a character and they do special presentations and they say, hey, if you like this person or you like that one, judge it based off audience reaction and pick those and put those together in your culmination film and spend the money on that, where you're only doing this type of movie like every 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Or not? How often do they do an Avengers movie?
How often do they do an Avengers? I'd say once every maybe like 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah,
5.
the phases.
Yeah, the phases.
Yeah.
Every phase. I'm just wondering when Jeff the shark puppy is going to show up, because you know, people are wanting to see him on screen, especially after him, you know, being in the Marvel Rivals game.
Oh yeah.
He's become, you know, he's definitely kind of a newer character who's arrived on the scene in the last, you know, half decade or so. But I think he's got a big fan base as well. So
yeah,
when are we going to see Jeff, huh?
Yeah, they have opportunities, like when they started to establish the West Coast.
The West Coast Avengers, yeah. Show up with Kate Bishop and.
I mean, did you see last night's Daredevil?
I did see last night's Daredevil.
So Jessica Jones is back.
Oh yeah.
And she's got a daughter. And guess who was one of her babysitters?
Which one?
Squirrel Girl.
The Squirrel.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So
I think that's kind of the thing at that time during when Jessica and Luke had the baby. And they were like all the Avengers would take turns babysitting. Like I think there was that kind of that was the cute time. And I think they need to reference some of that.
That would be very cool. Very cool. So yeah, we'll probably just rant and rave for a while.
Could go all night. Could do this all day.
But anyways, is there anything else you want to?
I don't know.
Say?
I think we covered most of the stuff of the week.
Cool. Alrighty. So who knows what we'll talk about next week? Ooh, we'll see. We'll decide 5 minutes beforehand.
The best way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, up to the minute news. I mean, that's the only way to stay relevant. And that's what we tell ourselves. Anyways, thanks for joining. I hope that you join us live on YouTube every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop new videos. And yeah, thanks. My name is Dylan.
My name's Andrew.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.